Business owners, I've been reading the fine print on the Small Business Administration Paycheck Protection Program loan. Let's get into it. My name is Nina, and I'm about to get in your business. If you would like to know more about the topics listed below, click that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. I upload new videos on Thursdays. Okay, the Small Business Administration uploaded what's called the Interim Final Rule regarding the Small Business Administration's PPP loan, the Paycheck Protection Program loan. I downloaded it, and it's 30 pages. I decided to read the 30 pages and see what is the fine print on the loan. Before I get into it, I'm going to say that I pulled out the information I thought was interesting. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my 2 cents and my recommendations on how businesses should move forward with regard to this loan. And I'll put a link to the SBA's interim final rule in the comments below. Businesses not covered. Illegal businesses as defined by federal guidelines. No principal of the applicant with a 50% or greater ownership interest is more than 60 or more days delinquent in child support payments. So if you owe back child support, you can't get this loan. No agricultural enterprises like a farm. Applicant can't be a household employer. So if your employees are nannies and housekeepers, you can't apply for this loan. Applicant with 20% or more ownership who is incarcerated, on probation, on parole, subject to indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction, or has been convicted of a felony within the last 5 years. So if you're an owner who has been in some type of criminal trouble, felony related, you can't get this loan. Applicant or others who are delinquent with a direct or guaranteed loan or has defaulted within the last 7 years or caused a loss to the government. A direct or guaranteed loan could be anything like a student loan. If you're defaulted on a student loan within the last 7 years and you caused a loss to the government, you can't get this loan. No businesses that present live performances of a sexual nature or derive directly or indirectly more than de minimis gross revenue through the sale or products or services or the presentation of any depictions or displays of a prudent sexual nature. So those types of businesses are also excluded from getting this loan. Applicant does not get more than 1/3 of the gross annual revenues from legal gambling activities. If you're an applicant for this loan, you can't be a lobbyist. You cannot be a member of Congress. And applicants can't be a state, local, or municipal government entity. So I thought that was interesting. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's get into the fine print with this loan. Now, these points that I'm going to bring up are not in any particular order. I just thought it was interesting. On my Twitter and my LinkedIn pages, I did include this information. For independent contractors and self-employed individuals who do not have a 1099 or payroll information, you can use other supporting information such as bank statements to prove that you have a payroll. Now, with that being said, there may be consequences to that. I'll get into that at the end of the video. The last day to receive this loan, in other words, if you procrastinate and you decide later on, hey, I do need this loan, you have until June 30th, 2020 to apply for this loan. Or if there's no more money, then there's no more money. I saw a news article yesterday. Today is April 8th. It said more money is needed to fund this PPP loan program. So As of April 8th, once all the money runs out, there's no more, but there could be more coming. Once your state has been declared a disaster area, you can then apply for this loan. So if you're one of the few states that has not been declared a disaster area in the United States, you can't get this loan. To ensure prompt service when going after this loan, please apply at the bank in which you are already doing business with. Well, that should have been something that should have been brought up early on in the process. So if you haven't already applied for this loan, please go to your bank first. Fill out the application. I have a link to the application on all my social media pages. Fill out the application and contact your bank and see if they are a part of this loan program. You can apply for and receive both the PPP loan and the EIDL grant, as long as the funds are not used for the same purpose. So there is an EIDL grant, and I'll get into that later in this video. There are grants available and the PPP loan. You can get both of those at the same time, but the fine print says you can't use the funds for the same purpose. You can't use the EIDL grant and the PPP loan for payroll. You have to use them for different things. Keep in mind that the SBA approved lender decides if the PPP loan is forgiven all or in part. So it's not the SBA. The Small Business Administration is entrusting its approved lenders to manage this program. So when it's time to submit an application to forgive the loan, please keep in mind it is your bank that will be making the decisions and not the SBA, Small Business Administration. The PPP loan does not cover employees whose principal residence is outside of the United States. So if you have employees anywhere else other than the United States, you cannot use this loan to take care of those employees. The maturity date of the PPP loan is 2 years, with the expectation that the virus will abate well before the 2-year maturity date, such that borrowers will be able to start business again and pay off the loan. Business owners, you have 2 years from the date in which you get the loan, the funds from the loan, to pay it off, unless it's forgiven. This loan can't be used for federal employment taxes imposed or withheld between February 15th and June 30th of 2020. This loan can't be used for employee and employer's share of FICA taxes and Railroad Retirement Act taxes. It can't be used to pay income taxes that are withheld from the employees. There is a 6-month deferment on the first loan payment, but interest will continue to accrue. Please keep that in mind. Even though it's now 1%, it was 5% when this thing started happening. It is now 1%. So please keep that in mind. The loan will continue to accrue interest during the deferment. You can get the first payment deferred up to a year if you request it and if your lender approves it. But all during that time, it will continue to accrue interest. Not more than 25% of the loan forgiveness amount may be used for non-payroll costs. So as you know, that the loan should be used at least 75% for payroll costs for your employees. You can use it for other things besides payroll. The thing is, that part may not be forgiven. After the loan is fully dispersed, it can be sold on the secondary market at a premium or a discount. So please keep that in mind. You may get a letter after you get this loan from the XYZ mortgage company that says, hey, we bought this loan and now you have to pay us. Just make sure you verify that. Okay, there's fine print with the EIDL and EIG grant, and I'm not going to go into too much about those programs because they are on the same page on the SBA website where you get the PPP information, there is an area where you can click right next to it at the bottom that shows these types of grants. These grants, unlike the PPP loan, are administered directly by the Small Business Administration. And the thing about these grants is what happens is it's really a loan, but because of the disaster declaration, you can get an advance on your loan. And if you request consideration for it to be converted into a grant, you can do this. But when you apply, you have to apply for the EDIL loan. And somewhere in that application is a little bitty box, and it says, I would like to be considered for an advance of up to $10,000. You must click that. Funds were supposed to be made available within 3 days of a successful application, and this loan advance will not have to be repaid so long as it is used for approved expenses. Remember, please ask your lender, what are the steps you need to take to ensure that that advanced loan payment converts to a grant? This is a one-time grant, so you can't go back and double dip. It's up to $10,000. You can't get any more after $10,000. You don't have to repay the advance even if you are subsequently denied for an EIDL loan. With that being said, it reduces the amount of loan forgiveness under the PPP loan. So if you get $25,000 in a PPP loan and you also get the $10,000 EDIL loan and you're successful in converting it to a grant, when you go back to the PPP loan and you say, hey, I want forgiveness, they're going to say, well, you got $25,000 from the PPP loan minus your 10. So we can only say $15,000 of that PPP loan is possible for forgiveness. So you're still going to have to pay back that $10,000 if you get the PPP loan. My 2 cents. When submitting bank statements to verify your salary info, and this message is me talking to the independent contractors and the self-employed who don't normally issue themselves a paycheck. Please note that this may open you up for an audit by the government. If you have not reported your self-employment or independent contractor income and then in a hurry to get the PPP loan, you say, here are all my bank statements. And there's a discrepancy in what you put on your income tax statement versus here are my bank statements. Yeah, you're setting yourself up for a possible audit at some point. It could come 2 years from now. It could come 3 years from now. If you are a tax attorney watching this video, can you please leave a comment in the comment section below? How long is the statute of limitations for an individual getting an audit? It is not the Small Business Administration that determines if your loan is forgiven or not. It is the lender. So if your business makes $100,000 at the end of the year and your loan amount is $20,000, there may be a chance that your loan isn't forgiven. So please keep all of these little tidbits in mind when you go after this money. Personally, to me, this is one of the shadiest products I've ever seen. The rules on this thing can change at any time. There is no guarantee that the loan will be forgiven. There is no guarantee that your EDIL loan advance amount will be converted into a grant. Will it? I don't know. But please err on the side of caution and always assume that these grants and these forgivable loans will need to be paid back by your company. Thank you for watching, and please remember, every storm runs out of rain. I'm hoping we can all get through this incredibly unprecedented time unscathed and back on track and back to work. Thanks for watching.